Click the bell icon to get latest videos from Ekeeda.
Hello friends, we are studying a topic called as assignment today. Now what exactly is assignment? See, for every given resources that are to be used, they might not be of the same quality. Let us say I am employing 2 or more employees. Now all these employees or all the material that is available with me or the machines, they might not be capable of doing the same capacity of work. Every resources, let it be man, material, money, will have different values based on their skills, their capacity and their overall material. Let's now talk about what is an assignment problem first. Assignment होता क्या है? Let us say I want to employ 3 workers to work on 3 different projects. Project 1, Project 2, Project 3 are the 3 different projects which are to be completed by 3 different workers. Worker 1, worker 2 and worker 3. And we will be given some kind of cost associated with each combination. Worker 1, project 1, worker 1, project 2, worker 1, project 3. आपको हर project और हर worker combination का cost दिया जाएगा. Let us say the cost of worker 1, project 1 is 8 rupees, 10 rupees, 12 rupees. In the second row we have worker 2, project 1, project 2, project 3. Let us say the cost is 10, 15 and 12. And in the last row, that is worker 3, project 1, project 2, project 3, we have 10, 12 and 18. Let's say this is the cost associated. Now every worker has different capacity. He may have different skills, different speed of working, different thinking ability, and so they might not be capable of doing the same kind of work with the same efficiency. Some may do the work quite easily, quite quickly, some may take more time, and because of these differential abilities, every combination will have different cost associated with it. Therefore, this gives rise to a problem called as assignment problem, where I need to decide how to allocate the given resources, that is these 3 workers W1, W2 and W3 for the 3 different projects P1, P2 and P3. Had all these 3 projects required the same amount of resources, and if my all 3 workers W1, W2, W3 they were of the same skills and efficiency, there won't have been any problem at all. Problem arises because of these differential capacities and differential requirements, and this gives rise to a problem of assignment where I need to decide which worker will work on which particular project so as to minimize my overall time. हमें ये डिसाइड करना है कि कम से कम कॉस्ट में, कम से कम टाइम में या कम से कम डिस्टेंस में तीनों वर्कर्स इस प्रोजेक्ट को कैसा पूरा करेंगे. Now what are the methods available for solving an assignment problem? I can solve this problem by different methods. Now if you look at overall operation research, assignment problem can be solved, to be very honest, by 4 methods. So we have got 4 methods: enumeration method, simplex method, transportation method and Hungarian assignment method. Now what are these methods basically? How these methods will work, that is the first part we have to see today. The first method is called as the Enumeration method. Now, enumeration method is the method where you try to do manually all the combinations with the help of the given resources and the requirements. In this case, if I use the enumeration method, I will be trying to combine worker 1, worker 2, worker 3 with P1, P2 and P3 in all the possible combinations. There will be overall 3 workers and 3 projects. There will be total 9 combinations. Now this method is suitable where I have very limited 1, 2 or at the most 3 requirements and 3 resources. But if the number of resources and the number of requirements are large, enumeration method is not suitable. Secondly, this method is very time consuming and not the most scientific method in terms of any technique as such. In fact, there is no technique at all. It is just a trial and error method where we try to work out the different combinations and select the combination which will give us the lowest possible cost or which will give us the optimal solution. And therefore this method is rarely used in today's world or in practical life. The second method we are discussing is called as the simplex method. Now, simplex method turns or converts an assignment problem into a linear programming problem, and it tries to solve the problem by using 2 variables or more than 2 variables. That way the problem can be solved, but then simplex method is one of the most complicated method and it becomes very difficult as well as very complicated to solve the problem. On the contrary, this method is not very popular because many other times an assignment problem might have degeneracy. To solve a problem with degeneracy, it becomes very difficult and therefore simplex method is also not very popular. The third method is the transportation method. Now this is the method that is trying to convert a assignment problem into a transportation problem and try to solve it by using the methods under transportation that we'll discuss at the later stage in another chapter. I won't talk too much about transportation method. Now I'll come back to the fourth method, which is the most popular method under assignment technique, called as the Hungarian assignment method, popularly called as HAM. This HAM method is used to solve most of the problems under assignment because this is the most appropriate, most scientific and foolproof method under assignment. Let's talk about the Hungarian method first. This method has got particular steps, and then once we follow those steps we get a solution and we test the optimality of the solution even before obtaining the solution. In most of the cases under transportation or linear programming, we obtain the initial solution and then we test the solution for optimality. In case of Hungarian assignment method under assignment, we basically try to verify much in advance whether that given problem will have a optimal solution or not. And our crux of the part of assignment will be dealing with the Hungarian assignment method. Let's talk about HAM. What are the various steps in Hungarian assignment method? The first thing first, we use the HAM method only for solving a minimization problem. We can't use directly this method to solve a maximization problem because in case of maximization problem we have to convert them into minimization. Just like transportation, even in assignment we always use any of the methods to minimize the problem. So the first step will be to check whether the problem is of maximization or minimization. So the first step is to check whether the problem is maximization or minimization, and it should be always a minimization problem. तो हम लोग सबसे पहले चेक करेंगे हमारा प्रॉब्लम मैक्सिमाइजेशन है कि मिनिमाइजेशन है, और अगर मैक्सिमाइजेशन हुआ तो उसको हम लोग कन्वर्ट करेंगे मिनिमाइजेशन में. नाउ विच प्रॉब्लम्स आर ऑफ मिनिमाइजेशन and which problems will be of maximization. Basically, problems which involve cost, distance, losses or time will be of minimization type. So cost, distance, loss and time, this will be the problems based on minimization, whereas sales, profit or contribution per unit will be the problems based on maximization. So we'll always check first whether my problem is maximization or minimization. At the second step, we check whether the problem is balanced or not. Now under transportation, the problem was balanced when the demand was equal to supply. When my capacity was equal to my requirements, we used to say that my transportation problem is balanced. Now in assignment, it will be exactly reverse. Here I'll try to match the number of rows and the number of columns. If the number of rows are equal to the number of columns, I will say my number of resources are exactly equal to my number of requirements. So मेरे पास 4 workers है, 4 factories है, मेरे पास 4 factories है, 4 machines है, 4 contractors, 4 roads, 4 products, 4 workers. These are the problems which will be called as the balance problem. So imagine I have 3 workers and 4 machines. So I'm short of 1 worker. मेरे पास एक मशीन सरप्लस है, एक मशीन ज्यादा है, तो वो अनबैलेंस कहलाएगा. So when the number of rows and number of columns are equal, I will say the problem is balanced, first part. And if the number of rows and number of columns are not equal, I will say the problem is not balanced. In case the problem is not balanced, we need to add a dummy row or a dummy column to make it balanced. अगर मेरे पास rows ज़्यादा है, columns कम है, तो मैं एक dummy column डाल दूंगा. अगर मेरे पास rows कम है, let us say I have only 4 rows, 5 columns, I will add a dummy row. That way I will try to always make the number of rows and the number of columns equal to each other. Then only the problem will be balanced. So these are the first 2 steps. This is basically the preparation before actually starting to solve a problem. In fact, I haven't yet started solving the assignment problem because at this stage I have only checked 2 conditions. Condition 1, problem should be always of minimization type, and second condition that it should be balanced problem. Once these 2 steps are done, we are now sure that I can start with solving an assignment problem. Now starts the real part where we actually do some calculations. We do row operations and column operations and actually solve an assignment problem. Now let's see what are the steps. The first step is row minima and the second step is column minima. Now what is row minima? Row minima is reducing the rows with the lowest element or the lowest cost from each row. हर रो से हम सबसे छोटा एलिमेंट, सबसे छोटा कॉस्ट उन सब नंबर्स में से माइनस करेंगे जो उस रो को बिलोंग करते हैं एंड इन द नेक्स्ट स्टेप विल डू कॉलम मिनिमा वेयर विल सब्सट्रैक्ट द लोएस्ट नंबर फ्रॉम ईच कॉलम टू ऑब्टेन द न्यू टेबल. After the first and the second step, we try to test the optimality of the solution. That is, we try to check the table obtained after column minima, that whether this table can give me the best solution. For that, we need to draw some lines that we'll see later at the example stage. And once we are sure that our table is optimal, then we obtain the final solution by putting a square or a rectangle against the zeros. Remember, zeros are the positions which are most favored while making the assignments because they will ensure that your overall cost is minimized or your solution is optimized. Let's learn these steps 1, 2, 3 and 4 with an actual problem. Now this is my first example where I have got these 4 workers A, B, C and D. And I got 4 machines M1, M2, M3 and M4. मेरे पास 4 workers A, B, C, D और 4 machines M1, M2, M3 and M4, and we are given the cost per unit of manufacturing by each of the worker on each of the machines. Now this is the cost associated with each of the worker and each of the machine with different combinations. Worker A and machine 1, the cost is 8. Worker A and machine 2, the cost is 10. This cost can be cost per machine, it can be cost of manufacturing, it can be cost of operating, it can be anything. Now first thing first, if it is a cost, that means it is a minimization problem. And we need to decide how to make the assignment, how to decide which worker will work on which particular machine, so that all the 4 workers are assigned the machines in such a manner that my total cost is minimized. मुझे कम से कम कॉस्ट में चारों वर्कर्स को 4 मशीन्स पे काम पे रखना है, और ये डिसाइड करने के लिए हम लोग यूज करेंगे हंगेरियन असाइनमेंट मेथड. Our first 2 steps, as I discussed earlier, will be checking that the problem should be of minimization, and second step checking that the problem should be balanced. इस केस में हमारे पास प्रॉब्लम में दिया हुआ है कॉस्ट पर यूनिट, मतलब मेरा प्रॉब्लम मिनिमाइजेशन है and it is a balanced problem. Once these 2 conditions are ascertained or satisfied, then I will actually start with the row minima and the column minima. Now what we need to do under row minima, in every row we select the lowest number and subtract all the numbers of that row from the lowest number. हर रो में सबसे छोटा नंबर सिलेक्ट करना है और उस रो के सभी नंबर्स को, सभी वैल्यूज को उस छोटे वाले नंबर से माइनस करना है. सो इन द फर्स्ट रो, मेरे फर्स्ट रो में सबसे लोवेस्ट नंबर है 8, तो I'll subtract this 8 from all the values in the first row. There will be 8 minus 8 0, 10 minus 8 2, 12 minus 8 4 and 15 minus 8 7. In my second row, I have the lowest number as 9. So I'll subtract 9 from all these numbers. So 12 minus 9, 3. 9 minus 9, 0. 15 minus 9, 6. 10 minus 9, 1. In the third row, my lowest number is 10. So 12 minus 10, 12 minus 10, 10 minus 10, and 15 minus 10. And in the last row, I have 10 as the lowest number. So 15 minus 10, 18 minus 10, 12 minus 10, and 10 minus 10. So I have obtained a new table from the original table, that is after performing the row minima. My next step will be to do the column minima. Now remember one thing, under assignment we always make the new table by using the current table. So ओरिजिनल क्वेश्चन का फर्स्ट टेबल यूज करके मैंने रो मिनिमा ऑब्टेन किया. अब मैं रो मिनिमा का टेबल यूज करूंगा और ऑब्टेन करूंगा कॉलम मिनिमा वाला टेबल. Now the second step, that is column minima. In the second step, that is column minima, we are going to do the same calculations or the same operations but column wise. आपका फर्स्ट कॉलम में सबसे छोटा नंबर है 0. आप सभी में से 0 माइनस करेंगे तो सब वैल्यू सेम आएगा. सो इट विल बी 0 minus 0, 3 minus 0, 2 minus 0 and 5 minus 0. In the same way, second column में lowest number is 0. So I'll subtract 0 from all the numbers, so it will remain same. Same for the third column. फोर्थ कॉलम में सबसे छोटा वाला नंबर है 0, वहां पर भी हम वही करेंगे. So after doing column minima, we are now ready with the table which will help us to get the solution. Now the whole purpose of doing row minima and column minima is to assure that you get a 0 in each row and each column. आप चेक करो रो मिनिमा के बाद हमारा हर एक रो में कम से कम एक 0 है. It can be minimum 1 0, it can be more than 1 0. After column minima आपका हर एक कॉलम में एक एक 0 है. 0 is very important in assignment. जहाँ पे 0 दिखेगा वहीं पे हमारा assignment होगा. Now the next step after doing column minima is to check the optimality of the solution. Means can this table obtain after step 2 will give me the best solution? That we need to decide, that we need to assure before finding the solution. For that purpose, we will redraw this table again and try to work out some calculations or operations to check the optimality of the solution. Let's redraw the diagram of the table and check the optimality. What I did is I simply redraw the whole table again as we had done earlier. हमने कॉलम मिनिमा के बाद जो टेबल लिया था उसी टेबल को फिर से कॉपी कर लिया है और अब हम चेक करेंगे इसका ऑप्टिमैलिटी टेस्ट. For checking the optimality of the solution, we try to cover all the zeros in my table, all the zeros, either horizontally or vertically, in such a manner that all zeros are covered in minimum possible lines. आपको कम से कम लाइंस में सभी जीरोस को कवर करना है और लाइंस आपका वर्टिकल या हॉरिजॉन्टली हो सकता है. यू कांट ड्रॉ डायगोनल लाइंस. रूल्स मैं लिख लेता हूं. ड्रॉ minimum lines to cover all zeros. Second, draw only horizontal or vertical lines. Third, no diagonal lines or curve lines are allowed. अब आपको ये ध्यान में रखना है कि आपको मिनिमम नंबर ऑफ लाइंस में सभी जीरोस के ऊपर से लाइन पास हो जाना चाहिए, ऐसे ड्रॉ करना है. नाउ आई विल ड्रॉ द लाइंस इन अ zigzag manner, and while solving the problem you will always draw the lines with the help of a pencil rather than a pen. So look at the position of the zeros before drawing the line. आपके पास 4 zeros है, चारों डायगोनली है, तो मैं पहला जीरो के ऊपर से लाइन ड्रॉ करने के लिए, ये मेरा फर्स्ट लाइन हो गया. देन फॉर द सेकेंड जीरो आई विल गो वर्टिकल, सेकेंड जीरो कवर हो गया, और एक जीरो बाकी है मेरा, ये भी जीरो बाकी है. कैन आई गो दिस वे डायगोनली? नो, डायगोनली यू आर नॉट अलाउड टू ड्रॉ द लाइंस. हम डायगोनली लाइंस ड्रॉ नहीं कर सकते, इसके लिए हम ऐसा लाइन ड्रॉ नहीं करेंगे. इस थर्ड जीरो को मैं फिर से ले लेता हूँ हॉरिजेंटल, और फोर्थ जीरो को भी मैं ले लेता हूँ हॉरिजेंटल. नाउ वेदर आई शुड ड्रॉ हॉरिजेंटल लाइंस और वेदर आई शुड ड्रॉ वर्टिकल लाइंस इज हाईली सब्जेक्टिव. आपको सिर्फ ये ध्यान में देना है कि कम से कम लाइंस में सब जीरोस कवर हो जाना चाहिए. इस केस में मेरा हर एक रो में और हर एक कॉलम में एक जीरो था, इसके लिए मुझे कम से कम 4 लाइंस तो लग ही गया. तो नोट डाउन. The minimum number of lines to cover all the zeros, 1, 2, 3 and 1 is vertical line, that is 4. So minimum number of lines to cover all the zero is 4, and मेरा number of rows and columns भी कितना है? A, B, C, D, 4 rows, M1, M2, M3, M4, 4 columns. My number of lines to cover all the zeros are exactly equal to the number of rows or the number of columns, either of the one. And then I can say, अगर ये match हो गया 4, 4, तो I will say that my solution is optimal. Therefore, solution is. Now, what will be the solution? That is the final part or the climax of the solution. I'll rewrite the whole question again as it is. हमने क्वेश्चन फिर से लिख लिया. अब हम जाएंगे रो वाइज, और जहां जहां पे जीरो होगा वहां पे हमारा असाइनमेंट होगा. इन द फर्स्ट रो आई हैव गॉट ओनली 1 जीरो. फर्स्ट रो मेरे पास सिर्फ एक ही जीरो है, तो हम यहाँ पे असाइनमेंट कर देंगे, और उस पर्टिकुलर कॉलम का कोई और जीरो अगर होगा तो उसे कैंसिल कर देंगे. यहाँ पे और कोई जीरो है नहीं. In the second row, I have got only 1 0. So I'll assign the second row 0. And is there any other zero in the corresponding column? No. Third row में फिर से मेरे पास एक ही जीरो है, मैं उसको बॉक्स कर दूंगा. So machine 3 goes to worker C. Is there any other zero in the third column? No. In the fourth row, I have got only 1 0. तो I'll make the allocation, और उस पर्टिकुलर करस्पॉन्डिंग फोर्थ कॉलम में और कोई जीरो है क्या? नहीं है. मेरा असाइनमेंट हो गया 1, 2, 3, 4. दिस रेड स्क्वायर और द रेक्टेंगल्स इंडिकेट्स द असाइनमेंट्स. सो मैंने ए के सामने फर्स्ट कॉलम में, मतलब ए को असाइन किया है मशीन 1, बी इज असाइन मशीन 2, C is assigned machine 3, and D is assigned machine 4. That way our allocation goes. Let's see what's the final solution. So worker A is assigned first column machine 1, worker B second column, that is machine 2, worker C third column machine 3, and worker D machine 4. What is the cost associated? आपका कॉस्ट कितना है? Here's my original question. worker A machine 1, worker B machine 2, worker C machine 3, and worker D machine 4. So 8, 9, 10, 10. So 8, 9, 10, 10. This comes to 10, 20, 29, 37. This is my final solution. So we have done a problem based on assignment by using Hungarian assignment method. This was the first problem. I got exactly 4 number of lines which were required to cover all the zeros. This has been the first problem. It was the easy one. Now we'll see what happens in case my number of lines doesn't match. इस केस में मेरा स्टेप 3 में जब हमने ऑप्टिमलिटी टेस्ट अप्लाई किया था तो हमने ड्रॉ किया था मिनिमम नंबर ऑफ लाइंस टू कवर ऑल द जीरोस. वो एग्जैक्टली 4 आया था, मेरा नंबर ऑफ रोज एंड कॉलम भी 4 था, तो मैंने कहा कि भाई सॉल्यूशन ऑप्टिमल है. लेकिन अगर वो मैच नहीं हुआ तो क्या करना है, दैट वी नीड टू लुक फर्दर. Thanks for watching this video. Do subscribe to our channel Ekeeda.